It's time to start a new series on a new topic. The next topic that we're going to cover is learning. And a lot of us probably think, hey, I know what learning is. I don't need to be taught much about learning. I know it when I see it. It's what I'm supposed to be doing in my classes if you are enrolled in classes watching this video. All right, well, with learning, we do have to go over the specific definition of learning. What counts as learning? Learning involves a change in behavior, but we get more specific than that. Learning involves a relatively permanent change in behavior due to experience. Now, both of the elements of permanent and due to experience are important in distinguishing learning from other types of changes in behavior that we might see. First of all, with relatively permanent, it can't be temporary. And in terms of how permanent our changes are, those scientists, neuroscientists, biopsychologists, people who study changes in the brain from learning, or as the basis of learning, they've actually observed relatively permanent changes in the organization of things like neuronal networks. And if you don't know what those are, that is okay, all right? I'm not gonna test you on that part, not my students. But the idea is it's not just a fleeting, temporary change. Now, due to experience, this is an important distinction. You have to have something happen. You have to have some experience to lead to the change. It can't happen because of bodily changes or like hormonal fluctuations or something like that. You can have changes that are maturation. Maturation happens when the body changes in some way and your behavior changes because your body is different. And humans do have these. If you want to learn more about that, you can take a human development class or a developmental psychology class that might go over some of those elements. But you can have change that's not due to experience. Now, what types of experience can lead to learning? Lots of different experiences can lead to learning. Probably your first examples that you would think of would be classroom examples. Your teacher, instructor, professor, they tell you something and you try to store it in your memory to be able to reproduce it later for a test perhaps, or in other cases, perhaps they're teaching you how to do something. And so they are trying to teach you the steps so that you can master some skill and then reproduce it later in some way. But also other experiences that we maybe don't think of learning can also count as learning. Like, let's think of foods that you like or dislike. If you have a food that you like because it makes you think of some happy memory or some person that you love, that's an association that counts as a type of learning. If there's a food that you just can't touch because one time it made you sick, or you happen to be sick when you ate that food, that's also a type of learning, and we'll cover that later. If you need more explanation about how that works as a learning experience. If you know to do things like stopping at a red light, you had to learn that. If you know the lyrics to songs, you had to learn that. Experience taught you that. Even if you learned the lyrics wrong, you learned something from your experience. Also, we sometimes learn by imitating others. Sometimes you don't know what you're supposed to do in a situation. Maybe you walk into a new grocery store you've never shopped at before, and it's got a setup you're not used to. Maybe they have a bunch of self-checkouts, and the computer system is kind of confusing. And so you might do the thing where you look around and be like, what are other people doing? What are other people doing? And whatever they're doing, you do the same. All right, you're learning. That's also a learning experience. There are a variety of experiences that can lead to learning. So in the next series of videos about learning, we will talk about some different specific types of learning and how they can lead to changes in behavior.